Okay, a long time ago in a place called Hawaii, there was a man by the name of Poturoa.
Oh.
Now, in Hawaii, that's where the Maori used to live. What's that making from Belgium? From Holland. This is a true story. You heard that? It's a true story. So, Poturoa, he was a chief in Hawaii. What he didn't like was all the fighting that was going on amongst his people and other tribes. And in summertime there wasn't enough food to go around and feed the people. And there were too many people living on the island. So he thought to himself, man, I want to get the hell out of here. So he said to his father, he said, Father, I want to get out of here. I don't like this place. I want to go to the place where Kupe went. And so his father said, okay, if you want to move, you've got to go and ask this man. His name is called Rakataura. You've got to ask him to build you a canoe. So Hopiroa went to go see this man, Rakataura, and he said, hey bro, I want you to build me a canoe because I want out of this place. So Rakataura said, yeah, okay, I'll build you a canoe. And so Rakataura thought to himself, now how the hell am I going to build this canoe? So he went to see this old lady. Her name was Mahurangi. She was a wise old lady. And so Rakataura said, hey old lady, I want to build a canoe, how shall I build it? And this old lady said, I want you to look up into the sky when you see the full moon. When you see the full moon, you have to wait 6 months and then you'll see, you have to wait a while and wait for half moon. Once you see the half moon, that's the shape you build your canoe. So Rakataura said, oh okay, I'll build a canoe in the shape of the moon. So he went to the bush. Well, no, first he selected 7 men to help him. He was number 8. And so they went to the bush and they found this big tree growing up in the bush. And so Rakataura said, that's the tree we're going to use to cut down to build a canoe. So they chopped it.
Was
chop,
it cold or
chop, 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 and then the tree went, the tree fell down. And then Rakataura said, oh heck, it's too late to drag the tree out, we'll come back in the morning. We'll come back in the morning and then we'll take this tree out. And so they came back the next morning, and you know what?
Tree was gone.
Yeah, the tree was up again. Yeah, the tree was up, it was still standing. And then Rakataura thought to himself, I'm bloody sure this is the tree I cut down yesterday. And then, so he said, oh, something going on here. So they cut the tree down again. They cut. Oh, it took hours to cut that tree down, and then all of a sudden, fell down.
Again.
And again, Rakataura said, well, it's too late to drag it out. We're all tired. Let's go. We'll come back in the morning. So they came back the next morning. Guess what?
Oh, it's gone.
Same thing again, the tree was up again. They were still there, but somehow it just... And all the chips were still on the tree. And so Rakataura thought to himself, oh, there's something fishy going on here.
Cut down another tree.
So, he cut the tree down again.
Yep.
Bang! It fell down. And he thought to himself, he said to his 7 men, you guys go home, I'm going to stay here. So he stayed beside the tree. Or, well, he didn't stay by the tree, he hid in the bushes. Anyway, just as he was going to sleep about 1 o'clock in the morning, he heard this sound. There was a big fluff going around him. He could hear it, and he looked up and he saw these birds. He saw all of these birds, and these birds could talk. And the birds were saying prayers and all that stuff, and he could see the chips. You know how Harry Potter's magic?
Yeah.
So these birds, they were saying all the karakia birds, and all the chips were going back into the trees, and the trees started to grow. And so the tree stood up. And so Rakatoa said to himself, gee, how can I keep the tree down? So he went back the next day, and he told the old lady, and he said to the old lady, what happened? And so the old lady said to him, here, you take this kumara, when you cut the tree down, you rub it onto the tree and you say some prayers for karakia.
Oh, sweet.
So Rakatoa and the 7 men, they went along and they cut the tree down, and Rakatoa, he done a karakia, rubbed the kumara on the tree, and he said to his boys, okay, we are here. And sure enough, he came back the next morning, the tree was still down. Now Rakatoa, him and his boys, they started working. There was one person, he was lazy ass.
Thank you, Dawson.
And so Rakatoa was watching him. Every time there was a feed, that fellow was the first one to go and get the food. You know, Rakatoa, he got really brassed up with this fellow. You know what he done? Killed him. Boom.
What's the X?
Oh, I don't know, but he killed him and he buried him right under where the canoe was. Yeah. They done all the bridge. They done all the bridge, but he didn't like the lazy fellow, so he killed him. Yeah. Anyway, he killed that fellow, and they kept on working on the canoe.
Shut up.
And the canoe was finished. And Rakatoa called out to Hoturoa and said, Hoturoa, your canoe is finished. So Rakatoa started to do all the prayers before they pushed it onto the water. When he finished all of the prayers, all the karakia, and he pushed it, and the canoe wouldn't move. And he done another karakia, and he said, okay, pull it. So it'll go back in, it'll go into the water. So he done the karakia and he pulled it, the canoe wouldn't move. So Hoturoa came, he done his karakia and his prayers. When he finished, a bird came from the sea, circled around the canoe and took off. And then Hoturoa said to Rakatoa, the canoe didn't move because there's a dead body underneath the canoe. What happened? He said, I killed this lazy fellow. He said, well, he kept the canoe up, but now when the bird came, it was a sign that the canoe is free to go. So they sailed. So Hoturoa was the captain. Ngāturoirangi was the navigator with Rakatoa, and there were a lot of people on their canoe.
120. And
they sailed to Aotearoa. Eventually they landed down the east coast, just past a place called Te Kaha at Whangaparaoa. And they landed there. From there they sailed up the west coast, came into Auckland, and they came into the Manukau Waitemata Harbour, all around Devonport, and then they got near a place called Otahuhu. And then some people got out, and they had to drag the canoe over land from one side, from the east coast of New Zealand and Auckland, and they dragged it over onto the west, into the Manukau Harbour. And then from there they sailed down to a place called Moko. And from there the canoe came back up to Kawhia, and that's where the canoe is now. In Kawhia, but it's buried underground. Okay?
Yep.
So that's all. I tell you a ghost story.
Yeah.
This is a true one too.